Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you California water news, news of new Russian aggression, Ridgecrest real estate news, election news, today's gas prices, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Winnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. In California water news, if you saw earlier this week, we did a report on current water capacity in California during the El Nino. The report showed most reservoirs not full, yet some reservoirs were being drained to 60% level to provide room for the summer melt. The problem is that the water is just being sent out to sea versus sending it to the parched Central Valley. We get this press release from Congressman McCarthy's office. His letter to the President. On behalf of our constituents and the residents of California, we write to request that you direct the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the National Marine Fisheries Service to authorize increased water exports into the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta immediately. Through El Nino, Mother Nature has blessed our state with much-needed precipitation. Unfortunately, both FWS and MFFS have severely limited the ability of the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation to export water from the Delta to California's Central Valley and further south. Earlier this month, the amount of water flowing out to the Delta into the Pacific Ocean exceeded 114,000 cubic feet per second, while Delta water exports have remained at about 5,000 cubic feet per second at Old and Middle River. In fact, while Delta outflow has been substantially higher in 2016, Reclamation has exported roughly the same amount of water this year during an El Nino year that it did last year. Recently, federal and California state water contractors proposed to Reclamation, FWS, and NMFS that Delta exports be modestly increased to 6,000 cubic feet per second at Old and Middle River, given the amount of water flowing through the Delta into the Pacific Ocean. It is our understanding that not only did the agencies reject this proposal, but that FWS will likely order Reclamation to reduce Delta exports to 3,500 cubic feet per second at Old and Middle River, today with the potential for future reductions. This is unacceptable. You have traveled to our state. You have seen the devastating impacts the lack of water has caused to our communities, cities, farms, and businesses. Your presidential memorandum, released just 2 days ago, acknowledged the effects of the drought and directed federal agencies to collaborate with local governments and non-governmental entities to help lessen the impacts from the drought and expand water resources. While we need collaboration among different levels of government, we more urgently need specific leadership from our chief executive. That specific leadership is simple: a clear message to the relevant federal agencies to increase, not decrease, pumping over and above 5,000 cubic feet per second to take full advantage of these recent storms, perhaps the last of the season. Accordingly, we implore you to direct these agencies to immediately increase Delta water exports, rather than reducing them. Well, we get news Russia is again stepping up its military presence against our allies. It is being reported by MSN that Russia will this year deploy some of its newest missile defense systems and drones on the Kuril Islands. These are islands where Moscow and Tokyo have had rival territorial claims, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on Friday. The dispute over the islands, known as the Kurils in Russia and the Northern Territories in Japan, has strained relations between the two countries since World War II. Soviet forces occupied 4 islands at the southern end of the chain during the war. The dispute is so acrimonious that Moscow and Tokyo have still not signed a formal peace treaty. The new weapons are part of a drive to rearm military units already deployed in the Kurils, Shoigu said in comments broadcast on state TV. Coastal missile systems, BAL and Bastion, and new generation Aileron, 3 drones will be deployed there this year, he told a meeting at the Defense Ministry. The Bastion is a mobile defense system armed with 2 anti-ship missiles with a range of up to 188 miles. It has also been deployed in Crimea, which Russia annexed from the Ukraine in 2014. The BAL anti-ship missile has a similar range. Shoigu announced in October that Russia would build a military base on the Kuril Islands. So, the Russians continue their effort to take more land. They may as well. No one will stand up to them. here or Europe, or the Middle East. Just like China is taking more area and claiming it as their own in the South China Sea, they can take all the land they want because there is no one that will stand up to them. Do you wonder how the real estate is doing in Ridgecrest? Well, I talked to one agent at Caldwell Banker and she said sales are brisk. We saw the beginning of the move to buy homes late last year. Sales were even better than usual over the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday period. That is usually a slow time for home sales. But we maintained a good rate even over that period. She believes the reasons are twofold. One, that a lot of current residents are trading up, that they have had a starter home and have now decided to trade up to a bigger home. That's possibly why most of the new homes being built are $250,000 and up. She also believes that with the new hiring on base, that new residents are also discovering that Ridgecrest is a very economical place to live and buy a home. With interest rates as low as they are, it's just about the same to purchase a home as it is to rent a home. All you need is a modest down payment, and you can become a homeowner. And of course, homeownership is always the best use of your hard-earned dollars. In new home starts, I toured the town real quick and found evidence of quite a few new homes ground has broken for. There are homes on the north end of town at Downs and Las Flores, and a lot of new homes in 3 separate subdivisions up in College Heights. One subdivision is even completing street improvements for an additional 40 new homes. And the real estate agent also told me that sales of current homes is doing well too. Prices of current homes is still very reasonable. You're encouraged that now is the time to buy a home. It'll be interesting to see the figures for this month when they come out. So that's the quick wrap up of the current home market. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have the latest campaign news. Thanks for staying with us. Well, the latest in campaign news is now there's another tough battle between Trump and Cruz. Trump has once again been attacked via a Cruz support pack showing nude photos of Trump's wife modeling many years ago. Well, I have to say there is no way to make a husband more furious than to attack his wife or kids. Trump reacted very swiftly, warning Cruz to tell him to stop it or his wife would be a target as well. Most news agencies agree that wives and families are generally off limits in campaigns, unless there is some compelling news associated with them. But these super PACs seem to know no limits. Cruz has stated that they had no knowledge about these pictures and warns Trump to not attack his wife in retaliation. The fact is, we all know that these super PACs are legally not to be controlled by any candidate. However, the management of these super PACs usually have the candidate's campaign staff working on them. Look at MoveOn.org. This was a PAC started by the Clintons with Clinton money, and it is still a super PAC that supports the Clintons to this day. We'll give Cruz the benefit of the doubt, though. However, it's almost certain if Cruz didn't know about the pics coming out, someone on his staff did know and let it happen. So Trump is furious. Wouldn't you be furious? Here's his wife being shown nude over the internet with pictures taken years ago, all for your kids and family to see. Wouldn't you strike back? Cruz should have immediately been critical of the pictures and had someone call that super PAC and let them know that it is not appropriate. I hear that after some hours have passed since the announcement of the pictures, finally Cruz did criticize the pictures. It just took a while. Boy, talk about dirty politics. And can you imagine what Trump feels like right now? He's being attacked by every segment of people trying to stop his bid for the White House. Yet his numbers are still pretty good. Cruz keeps touting that there are 65% of Republicans that do not support Trump, as evidenced in the elections. He seems to leave out that the Trump new polls now show that numbers down to about 58%. But the real interesting part of Cruz's support number is only 36%. So that means there are 64% of Republicans not supporting Cruz versus 58% not supporting Trump. So the numbers really aren't good for Cruz either. And of course, all those numbers will change after there is one candidate nominee for each party. Boy, what a tough campaign. Have you heard this Sunday is Easter Sunday? Well, the Easter Bunny is coming. We have 2 Easter egg hunts this weekend. One is on Saturday and one is on Sunday, Easter morning. This Saturday, the RCA Church will hold a community Easter egg hunt at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds. The Easter egg hunt gates will open at 9 a.m. and the hunt will start promptly at 9:30 a.m. Admission and parking is free. There will be hunts every 15 minutes in set age groups. The hunt times are as follows based on ages. 0 to 2-year-olds at 9:30. 3 to 4-year-olds at 9:45, 5 to 6-year-olds at 10 o'clock, 7 to 9-year-olds 10 to 15, 10 to 12-year-olds at 10:30, 12 to 15-year-olds 10:45. There will also be a special needs egg hunt in a separate area starting at 10 a.m. I guarantee you, do not show up late. Your kids will miss out on their hunt. These hunts go very quick. Every year some parents show up late with their kids, only to find they missed their hunt time, and the kids go away suffering. So parents, don't do this to your kids. Get there early so your kids can enjoy the hunt. There will also be other activities like bounce houses, wall climbing, and face painting. So that is what's the Easter hunt going on Saturday morning at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds. And if you can't make the one on Saturday, then on Sunday morning you can go to the community Easter egg hunt sponsored by the Ridgecrest Exchange Club. The Exchange Club has been providing these community Easter egg hunts for well over 20 years. This Sunday's hunt will take place at Freedom Park right behind City Hall. They try and do it early enough so most churchgoers have time to make it to the Easter services. And like the Saturday hunt, you need to make sure you are there early and ready to go at 8 a.m. sharp. Once the hunt starts, it's over in minutes. I've seen these, and it's true. These kids will pick up eggs in minutes. The hunt is for children 10 and younger. The hunt field will be divided into age groups. There will be one field for kids age 4 and younger, another field for kids 5 to 7 years old, and one more area for kids 8 to 10 years old. There will also be a section for kids with special needs. Parents will be able to help those children needing special assistance. Additionally, the Easter Bunny will be there to meet with the kids. So, 2 Easter egg hunts, Saturday 9:30 a.m. at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds, and Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Freedom Park behind City Hall. Again, note to parents, don't be late, be early. These kids do an amazing fast job in finding all those eggs left behind by the Easter Bunny. Now some Kern County Supervisor meeting news. I'm happy to report that KZGN-TV is now broadcasting the supervisor meetings live Tuesday mornings. So the supervisors have the desire to increase their transparency. So we here at KZGN were approached by the Kern County media staff to carry the meetings. We agreed to do that. This is the first time people here in the Valley are now able to see the supervisor meetings live over the air and on Mediacom cable. They have helped us set up the necessary equipment to broadcast it here. So our plan is to broadcast our meetings live every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. So tell your friends and neighbors, even those that have only satellite TV. Let them know that if they just put up a little outside antenna for their TV, they would be able to easily switch their TV over to watch KZGN's 3 TV channels when they want to. KZGN-TV Ridgecrest is now carrying the Board of Supervisors meetings every Tuesday morning. KZGN-TV is live over the air on channels 21.1, 21.2, and 21.3. KZGN-TV is also on Mediacom cable channels 21, 322, 323, and 521. KZGN is your source of programming with local emphasis. Join us every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. for the live Kern County Supervisors regular meetings. Now in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my last report on Wednesday, local prices have jumped 10 cents per gallon, which is a big jump. But then, all the other areas we monitor also jumped up again. The good news is we still have the lowest prices in all the areas we are monitoring. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.53 to $2.99, Lancaster from $2.65 to $3.09, the LA Valley area $2.59 to $2.85, and the Bishop area $2.67 to $3.09. We have 3 stations coming in at the $2.53 per gallon figure. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you're helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay with us for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a late-season winter storm will continue to bring snow and freezing rain to some areas in New England. Meanwhile, rain and thunderstorms are forecast for much of the East Coast. Critical fire weather conditions have redeveloped over portions of the plains and Southwest. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 72, Georgia at 67, Arkansas at 51, Northern Texas at 66, New Mexico at 55, and Los Angeles at 69. And for us locally, tonight, mostly clear with a low around 48, west wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny with a high near 74, northeast wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, clear with a low around 45, east wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny with a high near 78, southeast wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 50, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 67, west-southwest wind 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 35. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 43, west wind 25 to 30 miles per hour with gusts as high as 40. And Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high near 64, west wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's sports with Tom Hecht.
And a very pleasant Friday afternoon to everyone. Syracuse baseball yesterday, a tough game. The Coyotes fell by a score of 21-5 over at San Bernardino. The game was really tight till the 7th inning, and it was 7-5, and then San Bernardino kind of blew things open after that. Tomorrow, the same two teams play again, Saturday at noon. Come on out. If you can't, you can tune in to 12:40 a.m. That game will start promptly at 12 o'clock, also on SyracuseBaseball.club. Now, before we look at the NCAA scores from last night, let's talk to Brad Fogel. Brad was a starting pitcher yesterday for Syracuse. Brad's had a pretty good season, record now 3-3. Brad, talk about yesterday's game real quick.
Well, I mean, it was a good game. We could have been maybe a little bit sharper on defense all the way around, but it's something that we've been working on a lot in practice, and we're still getting better and better every day. And it's not for a lack of effort, that's for sure. We're working hard every day, and the wins will come.
Okay. Brad, tomorrow a big game against San Bernardino. You're still in the playoff picture. You don't want to get too far behind. And the next week, Desert, let's talk about tomorrow's game real quick. And what do you see with starting pitching and what's going to be going on tomorrow?
Well, we got our good Caleb is going to be starting tomorrow.
Caleb Pyramid from the Temecula area?
Yeah. Hasn't had a start since earlier on in the season, but he's been working a lot during practice and with our pitching coach and figuring out getting the ball in the strike zone a little bit more. And he pitched against Chafee in relief a few days ago and threw great. So we're hoping that he comes out and pounds the zone and gets us a W tomorrow.
Okay. Next week, College of the Desert. Desert playing much better now, aren't they?
Yeah, they've been playing a lot better. In fact, they just beat I think they just beat San Bernardino pretty well right before we started playing.
Mm-hmm. They did. This week they've split with Barstow this week. They'll play again tomorrow against Barstow. Brad, we appreciate you stopping by, and we'll follow you again. And
No
before we take off, let's give you a few of the updates. NCAA tournament tonight.
Okay.
North Carolina will take on Indiana. That'll be a pretty interesting game.
Hoosiers, baby.
All right. Notre Dame and Wisconsin. Who's your pick there?
I'm going to go Wisconsin just because they're the underdog on that one.
Okay. Virginia takes on Iowa State also tonight, and Gonzaga and Syracuse, two teams that I didn't even think would be in the tournament the way things were going. They both played real well. Now, last night, Kansas beats Maryland. Also, Villanova over Miami. Both of those games fairly one-sided at times, but the score is somewhat respectable. Oregon beats Duke, and Oklahoma beats Texas A&M. A&M lucky to be there after that Northern Iowa game. And you're up 12 points with 44 seconds to go, and you blow the lead. That's a tough one. Brad, appreciate. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck for your next start.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. And remember, join us Tuesday mornings for the Kern County Supervisors. Now, stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.